Matt, your turn, and then Diane.
Hi, my name's Matt. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. I'm a filmmaker. I sell video production. It starts at 10 grand for a full short film. And those who buy it are people who want to document their story onto screen.
Excellent. Well done. Thank you, Matt. Every week at Business at
Elastic
Breakfast.
band, it's going out and more. 2 minutes, 2 minutes.
I know. Every week at Business, I had to fill in time somewhere. Every week at Business at Breakfast, one of the members gets the opportunity to share with the group further insights into their business or enlighten the group a little bit more about themselves. The members can use the time to problem solve or seek assistance from the group as a collective. The time is theirs to use however they would like. Today, we have the wonderful Matt Bolin. So he started with Business at Breakfast last year and has been very consistent at coming every week. And then we had a break over Christmas. So it's really good to have you back. And it's kind of cool to have the person in the film producing spot as the pilot for the year. So taking on the very first one. So a little bit about Matt. Matt Bolin is an independent filmmaker based in Melbourne, Australia. Matt has produced a diverse range of content from short films, documentaries, and animation. Matt has been producing his own content and collaborating with other artists since 2010. The work he has produced has gone on to win awards in a range of Hollywood, European, and Australian film festivals. Prior to the war in Ukraine, Matt was one of the few Western filmmakers to have his works screened in Russia. Matt believes in the story as the skeleton of a film. The narrative at its core has to be strong for the rest of the film to hold up with integrity. With that, Matt, I'm going to let you've got up to 8 minutes to tell us more about you. I'm going to let you take it away. At the 8-minute mark, I'm just going to do this. I'm not going to cut you off. I'll just do this. You get to wrap it up and we'll ask you questions. And with that, take it away.
Thank you, Misty, and hello, everybody. My name is Matt Bolin. I'm a filmmaker from Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. As Misty said, I've been in this discipline since 2010, although I have to say that part of that is not entirely true, because when I was 8 years old, I attempted to make my first ever short film, and this was in 1999. I was 8, it was a home movie camera. It would be pretty average by today's standards. And if one was to look at that, I would prefer them not to judge me as a filmmaker based on what I did in 99. Because yeah, it was one of those home movie camcorders. And yeah, it's not that I'm ashamed of it. However, I believed I could do better since then. So yeah, long story short, 2010 is when my adult proper filmmaking career commenced, and I produced when I entered film school, and I produced my first short proper film in 2011 at the age of 19. I got my film degree from JMC Academy, which is a film school within Melbourne. And yeah, I sell video production. I sell filmmaking. It starts at 10 grand, and potentially what it offers is the chance for somebody who has a story or who has a script and wants to make it a reality, or even a novel, like if a book, if they want to have their story told on screen, I'm the man to do it. That's what we offer at Bolin Entertainment, which is my production company. And yeah, some of the films I've made have gone on to win awards in LA, in Australia, and in Hollywood. And yeah, what I care about the most is providing a quality story from your idea, from your script, and ensuring that it is told with integrity, with respect to the authors, and above all, entertaining. So yeah, I'll welcome some questions now. If anybody has.
I'm all over the place today. Excellent. Well done. Thank you, Matt. Diane, you've got your hand up for questions.
Yep. Hi, Matt. So how long would they typically be? How long would these typically be?
Well, it varies. The 10 grand offer is usually 10 to 15 minute length film, and that involves the crew that's involved, because we have a Foley artist, cinematographer. I direct and produce. Then you need post-production, you need a music score. So it all adds up into that. And sometimes there's a location fee. So like it generally varies. However, for a standard film of that size, that's what you would be looking at. And that would be to cover the expense of all the overheads that are involved.
Yep. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Joanne, you've got your hand up?
Thanks, Misty. Thanks for that, Matt.
You're welcome.
Can you let me know or let us know about the awards that you've won? What sort of films have you made then? What sort of awards have they won?
Oh, absolutely. So I've made a range of films. I've made animations, I've made live actions, and I've made documentaries. One of my notable documentaries I made was on philosophy and why it's still such a vital part of the world we live in. That was one of the things. I've also made some adult animation comedies, and I made another documentary, which both of them are on my YouTube channel. And this was based in Melbourne, where I live. Which Melbourne suburb are you? Where I picked 5 different suburbs in Melbourne. I made 2 of them. One of them when I was at TAFE. And yeah, we talk about, you know, their personal characteristics and what makes them unique, and a little bit of their history. So that documentary was really helpful for people who were wanting to move to Melbourne and wanted to get a better grasp of the different diverse range that Melbourne has to offer and where they might fit in. In regards to awards, Global Shorts, I've won a number of awards at. That's a film festival based in LA. New Filmmakers is another one. One of them that it also screened, Rotterdam Independent Film Festival, which is in Netherlands. That one of my films recently won awards in. In Australia, a film which I just recently produced won Best Australian Film in Newcastle. And so I'm just going through them all because there's been a few.
And that one in Newcastle, was it a long film or a short film or?
Short film.
Short film. And what were the parameters for that? Like, did it have to be no longer than half an hour, or what's a short film?
They usually cap short films at 20 minutes, like as a quota. That's usually what they are. And then after that, there's sort of an interstellar between feature film and short film. So it's always important, like, unless you want to be in that interstellar where it's difficult to place, it has to be either a 20 minutes under to qualify for a short film, or a feature film, which is 2 hours typically.
Yeah, fair enough. Thank you.
Where
You're
can we
welcome.
find your films? Are they like on YouTube, or are they on is there a website or something? Where can we see them?
Absolutely, yes. So they're on my YouTube channel, Matt Bolin, MattBolin. And you can also find my production company website, Bolin Entertainment. I'll place both of them in the chat in a second. And as Misty said earlier, as somebody from this group said earlier, like, it's usually great to have one method of contact, which is the most efficient due to time constraints. Although you can contact me on all my social media if you want. You'll get a quicker response from me if you email me. So mattbolins, mattbolins @gmail.com. So yeah, I would recommend that. Is there any other questions as well? I would be happy to answer.
2 seconds. I'm just putting your here's Matt's YouTube.
I've produced little mini web series like content too.
Everybody just click on that, make sure that it works. But there's his YouTube channel right there. While you're there, subscribe. Why
That
not?
would help.
It's got 1.3 thousand subscribers. He's not necessarily going to notice until it clicks over the next one, but I mean, that's really cool actually. So yeah, just make sure you subscribe while you're sitting there as well. There you go. Excellent. So we'll be able to check those out over there. How does somebody contact you? Like, what if, is it how have you had people contact you in the past? Is it like, Matt, I know that you do this, or do you know anyone who, what
You
is
know
it?
what? That's a story within itself.
Mhm.
It's a bit of both. Like, there are times where people do contact you and they say, Matt, I have an idea for a film. I don't know what to do with it.
Mhm.
I've gotten something written down, or I've written a script. Could you please have a look at it? And then usually when that happens, I say, all right, well, for $70 or such, I'll have a read of the script and I'll give you my critique on it and thoughts. So that's one way that it happens. And the other way is simply a twist of fate. Like, I'll give you a couple examples. One of the documentaries that I produced on my YouTube channel for Bolin Entertainment was a story about a Holocaust survivor who escaped Nazi Germany in the Second World War. Now, how this documentary came to life was one day I was in a suburb in Melbourne called Elstonwick. And yeah, like it was, I think, a Friday afternoon, and I was just looking for something to do. And within this suburb, we have the Holocaust Museum, which anybody who's in Melbourne, I would recommend seeing, because it's a real eye-opener and it gives you a grasp of the whole situation, and it can educate. Anyway, I was in the museum just to have a look around, and at the end of it, I said, this is incredible. Is there any would there by any chance be any survivors still here that I could have a talk to? And they pointed me in the direction of an older man called Ivan. And yeah, me and Ivan had a chat. He said, what do you do? And I said to him, oh, well, I'm a filmmaker. And then he just gives me this bit of documentary, like paper, like a Word document sort of manuscript or something. And he goes, this is my life story. Now, at that stage, both of us didn't explicitly say we were going to make a film from it, a documentary, but it was that one of those sort of things where we both knew we were going to make a documentary. It was going to happen. So I got home, I had a read of it. Again, I think this was that night, and I was moved by it. It was incredible. It was intense. That was one of the most heaviest projects that I've ever had to deal with. Even when we were filming at the time, we had to stop filming so he could ask for a glass of water. And yeah, the rest is history. And from that documentary, after it was finished and it got the recognition, I was at Swinburne University where I took a couple of units in philosophy. And by chance, I sent to my former philosophy lecturer the documentary just for him to have a look at, like to see where it's been going. And one day, again, by pure chance, I was in the cafe on campus ordering myself a cappuccino or a coffee. He just happened to be right behind me in the line. And I said to him, and he says to me, hey, Matt, that's a really great documentary I saw. You should do a documentary on me and my fellow colleague with philosophy. Again, another idea was brought up. And yeah, this was at the end of 2019. So we had a meeting afterwards, and that's how the birth of philosophy documentary happened. And that one went on to win awards in a New York festival. God, I can't remember the name of it now. It'd be written under it on the YouTube video, because I always document which festivals my work wins awards in when it, like on the YouTube video underneath.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yeah, so sometimes it's just a twist of fate, and other times people come to you with an idea, and yeah, like they send it my way. I look at it, I see whether it's viable, I see what it would cost and what would be involved, and yeah, the structure of the story and how much work needs to be done on it.
Excellent. Well done. Thank you so much,
You're
Matt.
welcome.
Does anyone else have any questions for Matt? Yeah, I know. I think he's given me just more to think about. So no questions are there at the moment. Yeah.
I have a habit of doing that.
No, but that's a good thing, right?
No,
Usually silence comes from two things. Either we've got something quite profound to think about,
thanks, Helen.
and our brain has to process it, or somebody speaks so far off the topic of what we expect them to talk about, we have no idea what they're saying, in which case our brain has no questions. But that hasn't happened. I haven't seen that happen out for a really long time.
So I guess I'm the first one then.
So you're the first one. Yes, you've given us something. That's all right. Pat Gross did the same thing at the early business at breakfast too, that we got to the end going, that's given us a bit to think about now. So it's a nice way to start the year.
You're welcome. And
Cool.
thank you everybody for those kind words in the chat. I appreciate it.
Excellent. Excellent. So thank you, Matt, for being our speaker today. Thank you, audience, for participating and asking questions. Maria, being our visitor today, so I always ask the visitors first, what did you enjoy most about our meeting? So I'll start with you there. What did you enjoy most?
It was a great presentation, Matt. Not something I had considered myself as maybe a producer or director. Maybe that's your role, or maybe a story writer. So thank you.
Storyteller, perhaps.
Storyteller, yeah. I've got a few books under my belt, so that it's just sort of started to get something going. So thank you.
That's what I do. I ignite imagination. I ignite the spark that ignites imagination.
Yeah, thank you, Matt, and thank you for opening that path. Thanks,
Pleasure.
everyone.
I'm happy to do that.
Excellent. Mr. Valek, you got your hand up, so you're first.
Well, since we're ending early, I have a question for Matt. Now that I've gone more through his site, because I've done some of this way back in interviews. Well, how long was the process from the interview with Ivan?
Yes.
To constructing the treatment, the whole thing for your movie? What was that process like, or how long did that whole thing take?
What I think what you have to understand first is it varies depending on production and the nature of it. But so in Ivan's case, though, it was pretty straightforward because he already had this, because he was doing a lot of public speaking around schools and in the museum. And he was writing a lot of books and essays. So he already had this really big treatment that was ready to go, which when I first met him, he just plunked on the table. So with him, it was straightforward. I had a read, I constructed some interview questions. It was then negotiating with the Holocaust Museum to see if we can film in it. So like it was all a lot of it was that sort of stuff. So with Ivan himself, basically, we just had a few phone conversations. And I thought it was fair to invite him to ask how he may wish to have it constructed. And he wasn't that picky with it, but he wanted some time to look for some old artifacts from that period, because whether it was different certificates that the Nazis gave, or different medals, survival things that he still had in his house. So overall, I would say that was a very quick one, and that's rare. From memory, because this was in 2018, I went to the museum in September or October. We started filming in late November and early December. So that would be 2 to 3 months. But it was also very helpful, as I said, that he had that treatment ready to go. If he didn't have that treatment ready to go, then we would have had to have more time, pulling apart, him telling his story, structuring it, and how we can shape it for film. So really, and then post-production was a few months, and we got it finished in, I think it was February or March 2019. If you look on my YouTube channel, it should say the date that I uploaded it, and it was around that time that we released it.
Okay, so probably 6 months for Ivan, but he's a exceptional case because he was fairly organized.
Well, it was ready to go. That's a huge difference.
Yeah. Excellent. All right, that's a good answer. Thank you very much, Matt. Thanks, Paul, for the question.